Whoa.
Hey, quick question for you, Chadley.
What up?
What would you do if you came home and you caught your wife getting fucked by the Cheerios bee?
The Cheerios bee. Yeah. I wouldn't be that mad, I don't think.
Yeah, not that mad.
Well, okay, well here's a question. Here's a follow-up question. Is like underneath the little yellow spandex that he wears or whatever it is he wears, is he packing?
Big hog?
Is he packing? Because if he's packing, I'm pissed.
Oh, I don't know. He's a spokesperson. He must have a big hog.
Yeah, well, he's famous, so I don't know.
Welcome to the Calgary Film Wrap-Up Pod. If you've never heard this show before, we talk a lot about bees, hogs.
Yeah, it's definitely the number one thing on our forefront mind. So today we are doing the Calgary Film Wrap-Up. We were very, very lucky to be granted access to a lot of these films. I didn't see most of them, but I saw some of it. And
you saw enough, Chadley.
I saw just enough to say I participated.
We went for lunch after we saw the last film there, and it was at the event center essentially. It's like the sponsored bar, and the lady was talking to us about how many movies we saw, and Chadley straight up lied to her.
Did I?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I saw 5.
How many did I see?
Didn't see 5, Chadley.
Did I see 4?
You saw 3.
Did I see 3? I feel like it was more than that.
Nah.
Oh no, you're right. My bad. Because I knew I lied to her, but I thought I lied to her because I thought I saw 4.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, this guy just was straight up lying to this lady. I was baffled.
Well, I'm a journalist. I got to make sure I keep my integrity.
Well, we'll be talking about some stuff on today's episode. We're going to be starting off with a doc because it really is the year of the doc.
A lot of docs this year.
A lot of good ones. We're going to make you watch some more coming up too.
Yeah, this year I'm going to see more docs than I knew existed. I think it's going to be a lot of.
You're not
docs.
really a doc man. You've never been a doc man. Hey?
No, not really. But I'm kind of into it now. I really like that Searching for Sugar Man movie. That one's good as fuck.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah, I saw that. That movie's good as fuck, dude. Movie's good as fuck. And I don't know, maybe I was turned off on docs because like when I was younger, like the docs that I saw were like that. Who was that?
Ken Burns?
No, like Tracy. What's his name? Tracy. I want to say Tracy
Spurlock.
Yeah, Morgan Spurlock. Yeah, that's who I mean.
Those aren't docs. And Michael Moore. Well, Michael Moore.
Yeah, well,
he's lost his mind though.
Yeah, and I saw that Al Gore one where he talks about the gold bars.
Yeah, gold bars. Those are gold bars. Shitty Al Gore. Hey, I'm shitty Al Gore.
An Inconvenient Truth is crazy because there's like a section that's just 10 minutes of Al Gore pointing at a picture of gold bars going, gold bars.
my Al Gore sounds like pretty close to my Cheney also. I didn't shoot that girl.
Gold bars.
Gold bars.
Oh man, yeah, but like those are like the movies that introduced me, like Morgan Spurlock's like Super Size Me, which I fucking hate. By the way, I hate that movie.
Yeah,
I think it's really
that guy also lost his mind.
Yeah,
all these documentary filmmakers have lost their fucking minds.
Yeah, Michael Moore, show me the throne.
Michael Moore especially. Michael Moore has lost. He looks like my grandma before she passed away. Remember my grandma? What she looked like?
Yeah,
with like that long fucking thin hair. That's what Michael Moore looks like.
Yeah, he's got a couple of good years left in him. I think
he's still kicking for sure.
Show me the throne. Show me Donald Trump's throne.
So show me the gold room.
I just love that he shows up to places and he doesn't even try to hide who he is anymore.
He doesn't go the Sacha Baron road.
Yeah, he rolls up and people are like, "Well, Michael, we can't let you."
Speaking of docuseries, when Sacha Baron Cohen poses as a billionaire that killed his wife and he interviews OJ, it's the hardest I've ever laughed in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That's on what is that called? What is America?
Yeah, on Showtime. So no one has ever seen it.
Yeah, who is Showtime? Who is America?
Who is America?
Yeah, who is America? Yeah, that's a good show though. It's only 5. It's 7 episodes.
That's like 10.
Is it? Is it like 10 now? I thought there was
10. It's 8
last
or 10.
Last I checked, there was 7. So maybe there's more now.
Tough watch, in my opinion.
It is really hard. There's like that show has that one of the most amazing.
Did you see the one where he goes into that town in Arizona or whatever and like tells them that they're gonna have a mosque?
No,
he's like, yes, we're gonna put in the biggest mosque outside of like the Middle East, and they're like, what the fuck? They're like, blacks can come here, but we don't tolerate them. And this is all on camera. It's like, how the fuck do you capture this player?
That show, like, the reason they're not making another season is that like 6 congressmen lost their job because of that show.
And they're all suing him and he doesn't care because they all signed off on it.
Yeah. Hey, go ahead and sue me. Got papers. Go ahead. Dude, that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Because it's not defamation. They did those things.
So we're talking about Satan and Adam.
Satan and Adam. Let's actually get into the actual documentary we're talking about.
Before this podcast turns into a 5-hour-long pod. Because
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah.
It will if we're not in check.
And it's late. It's late and I got places to be. But
No, you don't.
no, I don't. But the first movie we're talking
Stop
about.
shaking.
Sorry. The first movie that we're talking about today is called Satan and Adam. This is a documentary. The director was actually there.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah, seemed like a really cool guy, but he's like, I've been working on this movie for 25 years. And I'm like, playa, you don't even look 25
Yeah,
years
he didn't
old.
look that old.
Yeah, playa.
But he must have that good skin because he worked on like some crazy shit when I was looking at his.
Yeah, he worked on like Hulk, Phantom Menace,
Deep Blue Sea,
which of course we love.
and he would have been like in his 20s probably when he was doing that.
But he didn't say anything about that at the Q&A, and if he had, I would have had so many more questions.
We should have took him to a bar after because I have a lot of questions about Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, I got even more questions about Phantom Menace. I want
yeah.
I want to know if he worked on Jar Jar's weird. I want to know if he worked on the scene where the lady farted on Jar Jar. That's what I want to know. That's the important
lady
stuff.
yak.
Yeah, the lady yak farts on Jar Jar. It's very sexual.
Very sensual.
Yeah, gross. But what this movie is about, it's actually very interesting. I mentioned earlier that it was filmed over 25 years.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing for this movie, I think, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But essentially, this guy, Mr. Satan, which, by the way, fucking perfect handle. And they explain why he's called Mr. Satan, and it's just because he hates God, and I love that. Yeah. It's really, really whack. So this guy, Mr. Satan, he used to be like an artist on like Ray Charles' label. And he worked with Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, he played with all like in the band for all those famous people.
Like he was a guitarist for like a bunch of really big people, and then he kind of got screwed over on a record deal, and then he was like, fuck this, I'm gonna
as regular for black musicians of like the 60s.
Yeah, 60s and 70s. Yeah, and so he's like, fuck this, I'm gonna play on the street. And so this dude made his one-man band. He plays guitar and the drums and
like
the tambourine.
Pretty tight.
And he sings, and it's pretty amazing to watch. And then this fucking white guy just rolls up.
And this is like maybe the most confusing part to me. Yeah. Is that like they kind of explain it in like, because it starts off as something completely different than what it turns into.
Yeah.
It starts off as like an art doc. They do like some reenactments too.
Yeah.
At the beginning. And you're like, is this like an art doc? What is this? And he's like, I had a broken heart, so I was just walking through Harlem. And it's like, okay, but why? Why were you walking through Harlem in the 80s? Like,
yeah, that sounds like the number one worst idea.
And he's like, then I saw this guy, and everybody called him Mr. Satan.
Mr. Satan, yeah.
And I asked him if I could play harmonica with him. And it's like, okay, like this part's very confusing, and like I just accept it and go with it, but it was
because it's a doc. Like there's not really anything like the information they present you have to just take at face value.
Yeah.
So this guy Adam, he just goes up and he starts playing harmonica, and then he's like, hey, can I come back again the next day? And like this is sort of a big deal because it's an interracial band in Harlem. Sure. Playing on the street in the mid 80s, like during the AIDS epidemic. Like that's a pretty big deal. And so these guys sort of got more and more popular. The problem with this movie, I think, though, is that not a whole lot happens. Thankfully, it's 80 minutes, Professor.
Yeah, because they there's ups and downs, but the valleys aren't that high,
Yeah. Like when they're at the ups, like it doesn't feel that impressive. And when they're
it is though. Yeah. That's the thing. It
absolutely is.
It is more impressive than what the doc made it out to be. Because they go so fast through the early years, and I think that maybe they just didn't have enough like film of it.
Yeah, because I don't know. By the 35-minute mark, it feels like the movie's like ramping down.
Yeah, because like at that point they've gotten their record deal. They played at all these big festivals almost. I think that's pretty close to where that section was, right?
Yeah, at around the 35-minute mark, and then they're getting famous and stuff, and then it's at that point
because the decline in their career kind of is with the decline of this movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, but like the dip is so fast because it's not like a mountain like this. Like it doesn't rise and then fall. It like rises and then suddenly you're at the bottom for some reason. And like because like they're doing amazing, and then in the next scene it's like Mr. Satan was sleeping in his car, and it's like, what? I thought they were doing all right. Like Mr. Satan was sleeping in his car with his wife. Miss Macy.
And that's another thing is for like the first like 40 minutes, it's all about Satan and Adam. It's all about their camaraderie. And then like 40 minutes into this fucking thing, they just introduce Miss Maisie.
And they say that, and the worst part about that is that they say she's been there the whole time.
Well, I haven't seen her once.
Yeah, I haven't seen her once. They're like, yeah, Miss Macy came to every single show and was in the car. And I'm like, why are we just learning about this now? I also feel that the movie, most of the focus is on Mr. Satan, which is great because that's where the focus should be. But every time it starts to like phase over to Adam, I'm less interested because I think he's less interesting.
He didn't have
a story,
any trouble he didn't have any really thing to overcome in his life.
Yeah, essentially, like when his music career was over, he's like, well, I guess I better become a PhD fucking professor.
Yeah, I'm gonna be. He just immediately became a professor.
Yeah,
and even the director talked about it. At the end, he's like, Adam didn't want it to be about him. Yeah. And then the only reason there is so much footage of Adam is because Mr. Satan is like incoherent, and you can't
really interview him. Yeah, you can't interview him anymore.
Even like when he was coherent, he wasn't coherent because he's always talking in like riddles and shit.
Yeah, they were subbing him, dude. They were subtitling him bad.
Yeah,
because he just fucking talks nonsense, which is great. And that's like the content I'm there for. Now I forget, did this movie have a narrator?
No,
I didn't think so.
I mean, Adam kind of at the beginning when they did that reenactment stuff, but other than that, because like this clearly, going over 23 years of making this thing, there's clearly was different iterations of this doc, and you can very clearly see that.
Yeah, like it feels like this movie was completed 6 or 7 times, and then the director went, no, you know what, this can't be the way this ends. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of what this movie is like these and don't get me wrong, like the story is really interesting, and I do like this documentary. I think that it loses a lot of its focus, and I think that's just what's going to happen if you make a documentary over 25 years and have 25 years worth of work and footage that you have to compile into an 80-minute segment. Yeah, but and then like you get to like, and the parts near the end are the part that are just like, they're kind of just tough to watch. And like, and like, I know like that's how it went. Right. And the guy started filming the documentary.
I think it is important to have in there. But I think there's a really good, like 60-minute doc in here.
Mm-hmm. This is like a good, like this hour has 20 minutes or something.
and don't get me wrong, I really liked watching this. I thought it was a fun ride. I don't think there's much substance to it.
No, I completely agree, but it is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Like it's a good way to spend 80 minutes, and it's a fascinating story, especially for anybody who's like into like blues and jazz and stuff. I did love that Mr. Satan would get really offended by like tiny things. Like he got really offended anytime people referred to him as jazz. He's like, no. You don't say that's a beautiful jazzy sky. You say that's a beautiful blue sky.
It's like, okay, that's not an argument, but okay.
Yeah, those are just words, sir. But
I did find it interesting. You pointed this out that we were sitting right at the very front of the movie theater, like we always do, because we own this motherfucking place.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we turn around at the end of the movie. Everybody's 65 as shit.
Yeah, we were the youngest people in there. And of course, like the youngest people in this theater are journalists. Like that just makes sense. But yeah, like everybody in this theater but us was like in their 60s. It was crazy. So I'm wondering if like this was like a bigger phenomenon than I know. You know?
It's possible.
Because like
it depends. It depends. Like it's when they show like it's kind of interesting, the downfall of Mr. Satan, how he had a stroke and then like he couldn't play guitar, and with the community, like it's an uplifting story about the community bringing him back to life, and he was able to play again a little bit. Yeah. And then they played the New Orleans Jazz Festival or Blues Festival or whatever.
Yes, but I think like it almost feels low stakes that that's happening because it's like he's never gonna play again, and then the next scene it's like he's playing again. You know, I think there could have been some more graceful transitioning between segments in this movie.
Maybe,
yeah, and
it just comes down to what footage he had. I think
it's very true. It did just feel like it was 25 years worth of work just vomited onto a film.
Yeah,
which is fine because like the story is interesting enough. I just wish there was more to it. Like I wish there was.
You can totally tell when it switches from film to DV camera to
HD
camera.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. Because sometimes they'll just be like 2 years later, and they're in Florida, and it's like that's different camera. Obviously, that's a fucking handheld DV.
Yeah, it's well because that camera before looked like the one that William Frankton used to film Father Amorth, fucking a family shooting camera.
Didn't he film that on a fucking iPhone?
He filmed it on like one of those cameras your mom would take to Disneyland, digital cameras.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it looks like dog shit. William Frankton.
Is it one of those ones
in the industry for 45 years? This is the best you could make. We didn't talk about this movie, right?
No, it's on Netflix though. Now I gotta see it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. But it is Spookytober, so you know, maybe we'll talk about it.
I am William Frankton, and this is the house that Exorcism was based on.
Hey, William Frankton, don't talk.
He's got a crazy voice.
Did William Frankton? Did he film that with one of those cameras that like you push the power button on the top and then the lens goes? Yes, it comes out.
Yes, it's shown in the dock, and it looks like an $85 camera you buy at Walmart.
It's a fucking Kodak. He just popped a fucking 64 gigabyte SD card in there.
Yeah. Well, speaking of shitty movies, let's move on. Do you want to give this one a Chadski's rating?
Yeah, we'll I think this one's a 3-star on the Chadski scale. I initially gave it 4, but the more I think about it, the more I realize it might have been sort of sloppily thrown together.
I'm still gonna give it a 4. I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't think there's I don't think it's a groundbreaking documentary or anything, but I don't think every documentary has to be groundbreaking.
No, so. I agree. It's no Mr. Rogers.
Well, that's a high bar.
Yeah, it's true. It is a high bar.
There's almost no documentaries as good as that. So.
Yeah, that's very true. Are you excited to see Tom Hanks play Mr. Rogers next year?
No.
Why are they making that?
Seen the doc.
The doc already came out, guys. I've already seen the doc.
Do I need the biopic? This is like when Jack Black is in all these biopics based on fucking docs.
Yeah.
Seen the doc. Hey, Polka King, seen the doc. Way more interesting.
Bernie, seen the doc, but the movie's also good because it's linked later.
Yeah, that's good. And then what's that? The one with the Doug Kenny movie.
Oh, a futile and stupid gesture.
Doc.
Yeah,
way back.
I never saw the doc. I heard it's good though.
All these fucking biopics based on docs. Watch the doc. 120 minutes.
All right. So, what shitty movie did you see next?
Well, okay. So we've talked about this at length on the show. We got tricked into watching this movie called It Follows.
Oh yeah,
what's his name?
David Robert Mitchell.
David Robert Mitchell. We got tricked into this. All the 5-star reviews across the board.
Everybody thinks It Follows is great.
95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's really bad.
5 stars across the board, and we have trashed this movie. You could go back and listen to it.
Yeah, we trashed the shit out of this movie because it sucks.
It's film school douchery.
Yeah, it's absolute film school douchery, but David Robert Mitchell made another film called Under the Silver Lake.
5-star reviews.
5-star reviews across the board. I haven't seen it, but you have seen it.
And I'm like,
is it a trick?
I'm like, well, it's got our boy Andrew Garfield in it.
Yeah, we like him.
We love Andrew Garfield.
The girl's someone famous too, isn't it?
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of films this past week.
I don't know. Riley Koch or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Riley Cuff.
And it's a trick.
It's a trick. David Robert Mitchell, you son of a
goddamn
bitch.
Trick. It's like because at the festival they introduced the movies, and the lady that was introducing it was like, "This is exactly the kind of movie you want to see at a film festival. It's super weird. David Robert Mitchell wears his influences on his sleeve. It's very Hitchcock and David Lynch inspired." And I'm like, "Oh fuck," because you know who can do Hitchcock and David Lynch? Hitchcock and David Lynch.
Yeah.
Nobody else.
For fuck's sake.
So this movie is so like parodying on like noir and fucking Hitchcock that there's a point.
Is it a comedy?
No.
Oh, so it's just parody for no reason.
It's there's jokes in it,
Okay.
but it's more of satire than comedy.
Okay.
Right? So it's
that's fine.
it's satire on the
Sort of
noir,
like
the
Get
noir
Out.
genre. It's a lot like if Inherent Vice had jokes.
Oh, okay. Well, that movie sucks.
Yeah.
And if it had jokes, guess what? It would still suck.
Well, this is that because it's essentially Andrew Garfield. He's got 4 days to pay his rent, but don't worry, that has nothing to do with the movie. And
great.
so
Thanks, David.
So then he goes on this weird, like half drug, lack of sleep induced mission to find the dog killers of
Dog killers.
dog killers.
All right.
And that he chases around the dog killers for maybe 20 minutes. And then he's like on this other mission to chase these girls down that
Girls.
lived across the street from him.
What?
It does, like, this is what I'm saying. It's the most incoherent movie of all time. I'm explaining you exactly what happens in it. It just moves from concept to concept to concept to concept. And he's chasing these girls around, and he finds this band called Jesus and the Slaves of or the Wives of Dracula or whatever. And then he like beats the fuck out of him in a toilet while he's shitting, and it shows the shit in the toilet.
Okay. Well, that's content. There it is. That's the good content I'm looking for.
And he's like,
that's that good.
And he's running around LA, not in a car. And I've been to LA. You can't run around LA.
Yep.
Without a car.
True.
He's just like, he's running around, and like, oh God, it makes me so fucking sick. And this is, by the way, 140 minutes.
Oh my
Professor
fucking
Runtime
God.
over there. 140 minutes.
Nope. Don't like that.
And he's constantly fucking women for
Why?
no reason.
Oh, great.
So he gets to the point where he's following all these conspiracy theories, right? And he finds this weird guy.
I'm going to stop you there. This sounds like something David Robert Mitchell made.
Yeah. So he finds this weird guy, and he's like, don't worry about all the dog killing stuff. You have to watch out for the owl woman. And it's this lady with an owl head that murders people in their sleep. So that guy immediately gets killed. and he's walking around, and he's in his apartment, and he hears something. And then out of his cupboard comes an owl woman who attacks him. Don't worry. Has nothing to do with the movie. He runs away. Now he's following the conspiracy. And like I said, talk to you about the Jesus and the Lords of Dracula.
Yep.
He plays their album backwards and finds this weird code. So at this point, he finds this person called the Songwriter, right? And he goes there, and it looks like Johnny Knoxville in the old man outfit, and he's playing
I love
piano.
when that happens.
And this scene is kind of good, but it also explains everything about this movie. He's playing the piano, and he's playing like all these hit pop songs, and he's like, I wrote all these songs, and everything in life is meaningless. I'm like, oh, so this whole movie's meaningless. Gotcha. And he's like, everything's meaningless. And he turns over. He's like, is this Kurt Cobain's guitar? And he's like, probably. I don't remember. And then he takes the guitar and smashes his face in, and like it explodes like a watermelon, like watermelon effects. And you're like, okay, well, this has to be the end of the movie. No, bitch. There's another 40 fucking minutes. So now he's on this thing where he's like, well, why did this guy put all these secret messages into all these songs? And now he finds like these underground bases under Silver Lake, the reservoir.
Oh, yeah, there's the title. I knew it had to be something.
And he finds out it's like this weird cult that like all these super famous people go into these like underground caverns, and they just live there until they die with a harem of women. And that's where those women that lived across from him disappeared to, is they're going into the cave.
That's not a movie though.
And as he finds that out, he goes home, and he looks across the street, and he sees this old naked lady, and he goes and bangs her. And then the movie ends. He's smoking a cigarette on her porch, and he sees the cops like condemning his apartment. And I'm like, this is the worst movie I've ever fucking seen. And this is 140 minutes, by the way.
2 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
and it's it vaguely apes like a fucking David Lynch movie, but there's like so many Hitchcock references just in the lighting, and there's even a point where he's at a graveyard, and then like it scans up in the grave as Hitchcock's grave.
Dude, he might as well just like in the middle of a line, just stop in the middle of the line, dead silent in the middle, turn to the camera.
As a movie fan, I'm fucking, as a film fan, as a film critic, I'm offended that anyone is giving this higher than a 1.
He turns, he looks at the camera, and he just says, David Lynch. And then he turns back and just continues acting. Yeah. Yikes, man. I'm glad I didn't see that one, which is weird because it was the one I wanted to see the most. But I feel like that happens sometimes, like the one summer where the most excited I was about a movie was Transformers: The Last Night, and that's the worst movie I've ever fucking seen. It just happens. You can barely tell if a movie's gonna be good.
I'm not going to be tricked by David Robert Mitchell anymore. I'm not watching his fucking movies anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the last dog
shit.
Yeah, that was the last straw. We gave you plenty of chances, David. I can't believe you fucked this up. But when we rewatch this later down the road,
yeah, it might be a 5.
Yeah, I might give it a 5. Who knows?
So on the chess scale, I'm gonna give that one a 1. That one was fucking horrible,
but not a half.
It looks good. Looks good as shit.
Oh, okay. Well,
we even mentioned that about It Follows.
It's a good looking movie. Yeah.
Like that blood shot when in the pool.
Yeah,
they do that again in this movie.
Oh, same shot.
Yeah, same fucking shot.
Throw a TV into a swimming pool. Who gives a fuck?
So next up is a movie called Long Day's Journey into Night. This is the one that I really wanted to see.
Yeah, this is the one I think I'm the most interested in, and when it comes out like on video on demand, we're gonna watch the fuck out of it.
Yeah, we'll watch this one. Oh boy. Now we were talking about David Lynch. This is a David Lynch Chinese movie.
Oh, but okay,
this one apes it like correctly.
Oh, good. This is that good.
Yeah, this is that good. By Jean. He made another movie too, but we'll never talk about it.
Perfect.
So this movie, I really wanted to see it on the big screen because it's the only movie I think that's ever done this. It's 70 minutes of a regular movie, and then in the movie, and that's 70 minutes. That's when the title of the fucking movie comes on. Like the title screen drops at 70 minutes.
Yikes.
And then the character is in a theater and he puts on 3D glasses, and you put on 3D glasses.
That's awesome.
And then the next 50 minutes is one continuous shot in 3D. And I'm like, there's no way I can miss this in a theater because I will never, ever get a chance to see this the way it was intended otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. Because when I watch it in my living room, it's not going to be as fun.
You're barely even going to like this movie.
But I do like the idea of the continuous shot. Like, it's not even the 3D that really pulls me in.
No, and the 3D doesn't matter that much because it's not a 3D movie.
It's just neat that you put them on.
It's just kind of fun. It's a fun gimmick.
Yeah.
So this movie is essentially about this. It's really hard to follow. I also smoked a joint the size of a baby's leg before this, so like that probably didn't help.
Probably shouldn't have.
It's quite hard to follow. It's about this character whose father died, and he's like looking for these people, and he's trying to find information about them in his hometown. And it's mostly him walking around, talking. It's very Chinese. It's very, very Chinese. And he gets involved with this woman who looks a lot like someone he knew in his past, right?
Dude, this sounds like a fucking Shenmue movie. I'm in.
Yeah, it is actually like Shenmue. And like the thing I love about these hard-boiled Chinese movies is these motherfuckers are smoking constantly. It's like they're
so skinny.
They're chain smoking, dude. They're just crouching and chain smoking. And I love watching it smoke. Cigarettes look so cool on film. That's why they had to ban them in the States.
Yeah, because it
cool. Looks too fucking cool on film, and China doesn't give a fuck. They're like, you want your character to chain smoke this entire movie? He can. And he does. So he's walking around. All this crazy stuff is happening. There's like a future. There's flashbacks. Hard to follow. Harder shit to follow. I don't even know if there's a real movie in here, to be honest. Because once you hit the 50-minute mark, this is just a part where he goes back in time, and he's like, he meets his father as a child and stuff, and his parents and stuff. And you're like, well, I don't even know what the fuck this movie's about even a little bit. And like, there's the woman he gets involved with is with like this weird gangster. and then the gangster catches him at one point and starts doing karaoke and beating the shit out of him. It's real David Lynch. That's like the most David Lynch scene. It's like in Blue Velvet when
I've never seen it.
When Dennis Hopper has the fucking air mask and he's like raping that girl and he's like it's like that kind of
right.
It's like that kind of creepy shit that you're like, why is this happening? So then it just turns into this weird, like hard-boiled detective story that just turns into this crazy 50-minute shot. None of it really makes any sense.
Okay, then I do have to I do have to ask the question: is that this movie and the last movie you talked about, you both have basically described as like this incoherent mess of excellent visuals. So what makes this movie better than Under the Silver Lake?
Well, Under the Silver Lake is a movie that doesn't take itself seriously while it's trying to be a Hitchcock movie.
Okay.
Whereas this movie clearly has its influences in a David Lynch, but it takes itself 100% seriously. And it tells a story that I just wasn't able to comprehend.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough. So Under the Silver Lake isn't a movie, but Long Hard Day Into Night?
Yeah.
Long Hard Day Into Night.
I don't even know if it's a movie either, but I think it's more of a technical feat on all fronts.
Yeah. Almost like Assassination Nation. Just looks good.
Oh, Assassination Nation had some cool technical stuff. It didn't have a 50-minute 3D shot. Is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I'm actually excited to see this one.
It's definitely one that I want to see again. There's no way I'll ever watch Under the Silver Lake again.
Yeah,
impossible. I would never sit through this
till I make you.
Yeah, I won't watch it though. You can watch it. I remember all of it very vividly, as you can tell, because I talked about it for 45 minutes.
Fucking burned into your retinas. Right. And then what was the last one you saw solo?
So the last one I saw after this was I did a double feature with Long Day's Journey Into Night. I met up with the boys, Drew and Ian, friends of the pod, and we're going to see this new Lars von Trier movie.
Lars!
It's called The House That Jack Built, starring Matt Dillon.
Yeah,
boy, dude, this one's gonna be divisive. This is either a 1 or a 5 for every single person that watches it.
So this one stirred up controversy at the Cannes Film Festival. A lot of people walked out.
Yeah, a lot of people walk out at Cannes. It got booed, and as usual, that's every time. Lars, like Antichrist did. I think Nymphomaniac also did. They keep showing his fucking movies, though.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I got 6 hours of
Shia LaBeouf
fucking his wife.
They booed him so hard during this movie that he wasn't even able to talk like afterwards.
Wow.
Which is like
that's like a new low.
Let him talk, Ken.
Dude, here's the thing: is that Antichrist is clearly his most offensive feat. How could this be worse?
Well, here's the thing about The House That Jack Built. It's the same obsessive kind of thing that he did with Nymphomaniac, but instead of sex, it's murder.
Okay. Well, I see how that could be controversial.
Yeah. So depending on which side of the coin you fall, this one might be more offensive than Nymphomaniac, or I've never seen Antichrist. I don't even know what that one's about.
It's offensive. It's really offensive.
Well, this one's equally as offensive.
Have you seen Nymphomaniac? It's crazy.
I've seen part 1 and I couldn't stomach to watch another part.
It's crazy, dude. It's really
I have seen
crazy.
Melancholia though, and I like that one a lot.
I've never seen that one.
That one's not that offensive, though. It's just about the end of the world and depression.
I like Lars von Trier because he's clearly just making shit that's deeply upsetting for the
very upsetting. He's very up. I would be surprised if he wasn't a rapist. To be honest. I would be surprised if he wasn't one of these Roman Polanski, Woody Allen, Bryan Singer boy party types.
Yeah, I was gonna say he probably attends a Roland Emmerich boy party.
Yeah,
from time to time.
Bryan Singer, Roland Emmerich boy party.
You know what? He might even be too extreme for a Roland.
Yeah, he's probably way too extreme for a boy party. He's like,
tries
what
to
do you
go
mean
in.
the boys are just furniture?
He starts fucking pelting some of them with a baseball bat.
So I went to this movie with Ian and Drew. About halfway through, Ian walked out. He couldn't handle it.
Couldn't do it.
And by the end of this movie, Drew, who has a film minor, thought it was one of the best movies he's ever seen. So I think that's very analogous to the reaction this movie is going to get when it releases in December.
And I think it's just for different types of consumers.
Yeah.
Just from what I understand, I didn't see this one, but from what I understand of this movie is that you're either going to love it or hate it. And I don't think either opinion is wrong.
No. And see, the thing is, it depends on what you are, what kind of movies you watch, what kind of how deep you are into film, how willing you are to go into the absurd.
If you think that Tarantino's pretty extreme, you might not like Von Trier.
So this movie takes place, it's 3 hours long, by the way.
Yeah, it's super long.
It takes place over 5 acts, the 5 incidents. And it ramps up every single time. Perfect. And it already starts off fucking
bananas,
very intense, where he picks up a hitchhiker and kills her with a tire jack. Just destroys her face.
Yeah, that's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's the first 25 minutes of the movie because this thing's fucking 3 hours long. And then that progresses into, I don't even remember the second one really, but he just keeps killing women. And like the entire narration of this movie is, you think he's talking to a therapist, right? Because he's talking to this guy and he's explaining all of his murders to him. And like as he's doing it, he's like, "You're a very sick man. You're killing women." And he's like, "Oh no, I've killed dozens of people. A lot of them were men.
Yeah,
but I'm just telling you the stories that affected me the most." And it's that kind of like, it's this kind of like provocative stuff.
Oh, just sickening, dude.
And in between it, as he's explaining these murders, in between each act, he goes into like this really pretentious, if you're not on board for this movie, you're going to think it's the most pretentious movie of all time, because he talks about like Hitler and Mussolini and stuff in between the murders, and like they show all this stock footage and like pictures and shit of like
oh, dude,
all this shit to rile people up, right? It's specifically made to rile people up.
I don't know much about Lars von Trier, but I'm pretty sure he's a pervert.
He said that he admires Hitler at one I think during the Antichrist can. Mm-hmm. During his speech. And that's just kind of he's a provocateur, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is a movie that riles,
gets the people going,
dude. And I don't necessarily think that's great all the time, but I also think it makes for something interesting and different. Whether Lars von Trier, probably misogynist, probably a shitty person.
I bet he sucks.
But this movie, he somehow makes this terrible, horrific serial killer like
the good guy.
No, not the good guy, but he like humanizes him enough that you're like laughing along with him as he's cutting a woman's tit off, you know? Yeah. You're like laughing along with him as he's killing a fucking family with her children. This is where Ian walked out after he shot.
Yeah, that's where people walked out at.
He shot all these kids with a fucking like a hunting rifle, and he made them do the most dangerous game, right? He was running them through this forest and killing them.
The most dangerous. I love when they do the most dangerous.
It's game. Tough. It's a tough watch. This isn't a pleasant movie. It's very, very unpleasant the entire way through.
It's a Lars von Trier movie. I'd be shocked if it was pleasant.
So this is where it comes to the fifth act, because there's the lady with the
kid, the hitchhiker
lady. I forget what the second one is. Like, he goes up to a lady's house and like knocks and tells him he's like a sales insurance, and like strangles her out in her living room. And this is where like,
fuck yeah,
they really like, this is the one where he really talks about how he has OCD and he's like constantly going back into the house and cleaning it. Yeah. And it just shows how lucky he gets all the time. And then like as it progresses, he gets more dangerous with his kills and whatnot. And he kills the lady with his kids, and he cuts the lady's tit off. And the fifth one, this is where he lines up a bunch of people on this bar, and he wanted to shoot them with a Full Metal Jacket and kill them all at the same time, right? And this whole time he's bringing everybody back into this freezer that he bought. So he's got like this weird freezer, and he's setting up all this stuff in the freezer. And then this is where he finally breaks into the back room of his freezer. It was frozen over this entire time, right? And you're like, what the fuck's in there? What's going to be in there? And it's the therapist guy. And you know who it is? It's the guy that plays Hitler in that Downfall movie.
Bruno Ganz.
Yeah. And he's in there. And you're like, well, what the fuck is this movie all of a sudden? Because now this is where it turns into like a whimsical movie, right? He's like the devil, or like at least the keeper of hell is what I would call him. And he's like talking to him. And this movie is called The House That Jack Built, right?
Yeah.
Haven't even got into that yet.
He's Jack, right?
He's Jack. And the entire time he's talking about this house that he's building. First, he builds it with stone. Second, he builds it with wood, and he just can't get it right. And at the very end of this movie, he builds it with all the bodies. builds this
Holy
house. And then inside the house, he goes through this portal into what you can assume is hell, right? And then Bruno Ganz is like talking about all this philosophical stuff. At this point, it's off the fucking rails.
Wait. Is Bruno Ganz Satan?
He's not Satan, but he's like the gatekeeper to hell.
Great. Perfect.
And then like he takes him down and he's like, if you cross this bridge, you get to heaven. But the bridge is like, it's busted out. So he's like, you have to climb all the way around. And he's climbing around and you see down, it's hell. It's clearly hell. It's fire. And he's climbing around. Like, you think he's almost going to make it. And he falls in and the movie fades to black. And you're like, so he went to hell? The fuck is this movie about? And it's just like, it's so crazy that it's like, it's you have to watch it. Like, you literally have to watch it.
I'll be seeing it for sure.
And I can understand every 1-star review.
Yeah,
100%. Because if you're not on board for the unpleasantness, the nastiness, the vile, the attitude of this filmmaking, then it's not for you.
Yeah. You gotta get on board with something that's just gonna be detestable.
Yeah, and it's fucking sick, dude. but this was a late night Lars Head crew, dude. Everybody was a Lars Head. Everybody was laughing along with the fucking sickos, like sickos.
Except for Father Ian.
Father Ian, one of the purest men I know, had to walk out, and I understand that completely. Me and Drew are fucking sickos. We were eating this shit up.
Yeah, Drew is he's too pure for that, I think.
Ian is, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Ian, yeah.
not Drew. He's not pure.
Drew's a fucking
he's
sicko.
A fucking weirdo, sicko, nasty man.
Yeah, he's brutal.
But yeah, this is one of the best movies I've seen this year. It's fucking really crazy.
What do you give it on Chatsky?
5.
That's a 5. Holy fuck, we just got a 5 from House of Jack Bill.
Yeah, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but that's the goal.
Hey, maybe this will win Best Pick.
No.
But what if it did?
All right, Chedley. So on the last day of film, you managed to hit another screening.
Here's the craziest part is that I was in Grand Prairie, Alberta. For anybody who has ever been to Grand Prairie, Alberta, it's the worst place I've ever been. I flew home. I got home. I put my shit down. I texted you and I'm like, what are you doing? And you're
on a whim. You just texted me on a whim. If it would have been 10 minutes later, you wouldn't have made it.
Yeah. I text you on a whim and you're like, I'm at Fest. Mega Time Squad's starting in 15 minutes. And I'm like, I'm in. And I fucking sprinted to the theater.
Dude legged it. He showed up at it. Well, I didn't even start yet.
Yeah. It was starting at 4:20. I showed up at 4:19. And here's the crazy thing. I stopped for a beer. Before I went in. I grabbed a brew.
Yeah, I saw you had a beer in hand.
And you're like, this fucking guy was almost late and he stopped for a brew?
Wild, dude.
Yeah, pretty whack. But I got there and I'm like, one ticket for Mega Time Squad. And they're like, we don't take debit. And I'm like, fucking guys. So I had to run downstairs to a fucking ATM and come back.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize this wasn't a business.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you weren't interested in money.
Oh, you guys don't even see money as reward. It's a nonprofit.
Yeah, it's a nonprofit, which I think they would see money as more of a reward, if anything. So I run downstairs. I get the ATM. I give them my cash. I grab my beer. I pump into the theater and watch Mega Time Squad. Now this is the same crew of folks who made Deathgasm.
Well, it has some of the same actors. Like the guy that played Damage, that was the main guy from
Deathgasm. Yeah,
Heavy Metal.
I
don't know who. It's not the same director, but there's a lot of crossover because
it's New Zealand.
I don't know how big the New Zealand industry is. Just it's like Taika and these guys.
Yeah. and Taika left. He's in America.
Here's the thing about New Zealand is I don't even know if that's a real place. To be honest,
I'm convinced that it's not. I think it's just Australia's dick.
The thing I do love about New Zealand is they have a very silly sense of humor that aligns with me quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it shines very brightly in this movie. So what Mega Time Squad? I'm gonna explain to you the basic plot of Mega Time Squad, and you, the listener, are gonna be like, "Oh fuck, I have to see that."
Yeah.
So this guy gets a bracelet that can bring him back in time, and he uses that to go back in time and then become friends with himself.
So good. Never been done I don't think it's been done in any time travel movie.
But he does it 4 times. So then he just has a gang
He's like,
of himself.
what are we? The Mega Time Squid?
Mega Time Squad. Yeah, Mega Time Squad. Yeah, and they're all doing this Kiwi accent, which I fucking
it's fucking preposterous.
I adore
dude.
it. It doesn't sound like real words, but I love it.
A lot of it you couldn't tell. Like, and this guy Johnny Brewer that played Shelton, the mob boss guy.
Yeah, I love him.
Holy fuck! This guy was the funniest motherfucker I've ever seen in a movie. Like he must be like a TV actor in New Zealand or something.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
He was probably the guy that like they had to put and such and such a person on at the end. Because in New Zealand, this movie came out and they're like a bunch of no name. Oh fuck, that guy's in it.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that's like famous there.
Yeah, and he's so funny in this movie.
Because this movie, like,
it's really funny.
It's a time travel kind of movie, but also it's more of just launch pads for good jokes the entire time.
Absolutely. There's like even because
the plot is like so cheesy and stupid, but the jokes are so good.
Yeah, there's
like I forgive it for being the cheesiest fucking movie of all time.
One of my favorite jokes in the entire movie is the guy who has the shoes that say dope, but it's D-O on one shoe and P-O on the other, and he crosses his leg, and it's like, why do you have shoes that say pedo?
Why you got pedo shoes?
Why do you got pedo shoes? Oh man, it really is. I do agree. Like, it's a launch pad for a bunch of really good jokes, but I also really like the idea because it's so
it's
stupid.
It's
and
time
silly.
travel, but it's unique, and it's like what would happen if there's like a fucking dumb guy had a time travel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite parts is when they're robbing the store and they steal the bracelet, and then like as he's leaving, he's like, "So if my girlfriend doesn't like this, can I like bring it back, like exchange?"
Yeah.
You
will bring it back.
Yeah, you will bring it back. Yeah. So they robbed these 2 guys rob this ancient Chinese store and get this bracelet that if you push it never really explained how the time travel worked.
No, but they do over explain that there's a demon, but that never
don't do anything with that.
Like, they go to like that army guy and he very immediately knows what it is and explains everything in high detail.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't know if we need this.
Yeah, that guy was good because he was literally just in the movie to be what's the word I'm looking for? Foreshadowing.
Mythical black person.
Yeah, but he was also New Zealand and white.
Yeah, but he plays the role of the Stephen King mythical black person.
Yeah, they just go to get the information, and don't worry, that information is not useful at all. This movie rings in at 85 minutes.
Oh, Professor Runtime feeling good on this one.
Yeah, it's really, really short. It's super duper funny. I love all the characters because this movie has like this diverse set of silly characters, like Damage. One of my favorite parts is when they're like, when he tells the guy to shoot him and he's like, can't do it. And he's like, all right, who wants to shoot this guy? And Damage is like, oh, me.
Oh, yeah, me.
Yeah, dibs. Yeah. And so I don't know. It's so genuine and unique. Like, I've never seen a movie quite like this.
Yeah, that's a good word. It is very genuine.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, all these characters feel like actual people, and I love that this movie has like this underlying message of like, people are so untrustworthy that you literally won't even trust yourself.
Yeah, that's great. That's so good.
Yeah, and like it's actually deeper than I think even the filmmakers intended it to be. Which is great. And then like the Shelton character is obviously great. I love Damage. I love the main guy's like buddy who betrays him.
Oh yeah, that guy was good.
Yeah.
What was like the big Tongan guy, like Randy or something like that?
Oh, I don't remember, but
he had like a name like that.
Yeah, he was big. He was huge.
I love when a big Samoan or Tongan or whatever he was shows up.
I also love the old guy that kept getting shot in the eye.
Maori. He's probably Maori.
Yeah. Couldn't stop getting shot in the eye.
Yeah, that guy was great.
And that was like every time he got shot in the eye, it was funnier. Like, like the first time it happened, it was like, like just shoot your eye out, kid. Also, that gun that they had looked like a BB gun.
Well, that's one of the funniest jokes in the movie where he's like gave a couple people guns and he's like, what is this, fucking America cunts? I don't have any guns.
Yeah, everybody's trying to get guns. He's like, I've only got a few.
It's like, you think this fucking Australia is fucking New Zealand?
Yeah.
Oh man, he was just. I love New Zealand and Australians because they just throw around cunt so much.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
And they know when it stings too.
Somebody kill this cunt. Who wants to kill this cunt? Oh man. There is, however, one scene in this movie that I was like almost like visibly upset watching.
Yeah.
Like really angry. And it's like the scene where he goes into the trailer.
Yeah.
And then the him from the future is like, press the button. And then he runs away.
And it happens like 4 times. You turn to me and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You were pissed off. The entire movie, by the way, Chadley's sick, so he's touching his nose and eyes the entire time.
I'm
like,
super
loud.
super
He's just
ill.
like sneezing and shit and touching his eyes and face all the time and fucking nose and face.
Yeah. But like they do this the first time and then they do it a second time. Then they do it a third time, and holy fuck would I be damned if they didn't do it a fourth and fifth fucking time.
That's a Family Guy joke at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's pad out that runtime a little bit.
Yeah, because it's already really short. But here's a good way to pad out the runtime. Add 10 minutes at the end where they encounter Demon.
Yeah.
They also, this movie also has a loose string attached to it where, oh no, never mind. I lied. Because I was thinking there was a loose string, but then I remembered that they resolved it at the end. So never mind. Don't worry about that.
Okay. I'm glad you explained that for 45 seconds. I'm sure the audience ate the shit out of that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just sort of neat to see, especially like, you have to jump into the mind of these criminals who don't know that he's gone back in time, and they'll like shoot him and they'll be like, all right, that's it, he's dealt with, and then he'll just show up again.
Yeah.
And it's just
one of the funniest scenes is when he's like walking around the house on all the security cameras, and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
There's 2 of these fucks. There's 2 of these cunts. Yeah. I don't know, this movie, it's silly from front to back. It's totally. 80 minutes and it's funny.
A great time.
Yeah, I had a really fun time watching this.
I think like the whole romance plot is very cheesy and like it's not delivered too well.
No, I think it's completely useless. I don't think that it needed to be in the movie. I think that
but it just wasn't executed that well.
It's literally just there to shortcut their way to the main character learning his lesson.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. It's like he couldn't get there on his own, but with the girl, we could shortcut it right there to the fucking lesson. Because like he's like the mean guy that the girl doesn't like, and then in the next scene he's like, I'm all better now.
I'm good now.
Yeah, I'm good now. I'm a nice guy. And she's like, all right.
Yeah, because I think I know what you were alluding to. The vest that she was making, the suicide vest.
No, I was alluding to the fact that there was 2 of these of the guys at the end, but then I remembered that the other one showed up and he paid him off.
Yeah.
And I forgot about that. But yeah, the vest is also good.
Because you almost think, like, the whole time I'm like, they better pay off this fucking suicide vest.
Yeah, this suicide vest has to go off on someone. And the best part about it is the suicide vest goes off on someone who doesn't deserve it, which is super funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love this movie. I think it's as good. No, it's better than Deathgasm, like for sure.
It's better than Deathgasm.
It's better, way better than Deathgasm, I think.
Deathgasm? Heavy metal?
Deathgasm, yeah. And I don't know. I'm excited to see more what these folks have to offer, because I don't know.
I'm in for any weird New Zealand shit, to be honest. Whenever that stuff comes out, I'm all for it.
Yeah, for sure.
This was just a last minute one that I wanted to see. It was between this or the Finnish movie called Heavy Trip, which was about these heavy metal guys trying to get to a concert or whatever. I'm sure that would have been great too, but New Zealand.
Yes, I'm sorry. We got a New Zealand film on deck. There's no way I'm seeing some fucking Finnish film.
I bet that would have been funny too, though. The Finnish are funny.
But here's the thing. They're not New Zealand.
They're not New Zealand funny, that's for sure. Those are silly motherfuckers.
Here's the thing. I think New Zealand might be one of the funniest places.
That's the funniest country for sure.
For sure.
Definitely
super
the funniest
funny
country.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like this movie a lot. On the Chatsky scale, I'm going to run it at a 4-star.
I'm going to give this bad boy a 3. I don't think it does anything that interesting, but it's really funny.
It's super funny. And like, I give it a 4 because it's super funny and it's 80 minutes. This is like,
it doesn't waste your time.
Yeah. To me, this is like the same as like watching Harold and Kumar. It's like, it's 80 minutes. It's really dumb, but it's a lot of fun. And I like it.
Tim Van Damme. I'm excited to see what else you got, player.
Yeah. Play it. Come on. Bring us some other stuff. So yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. Calgary Film.
A lot of fun. Had a lot of fun. So what was your favorite of the fest that you saw?
Well, I only saw a few. By a few, I mean 3. What was that first one we saw?
Super Grid.
Super good. Oh yeah, that one for sure.
Yeah, Super Grid was great.
Yeah, that one's my favorite of.
House
of the
that Jack
fest for sure.
built, Super Grid, Sharkwater Extinction. Those are all really great. Those are some of my favorites.
But if you had to pick one,
Super Grid.
really, Super Grid?
Yeah, I think so.
I was expecting House that Jack built.
Well, House that Jack built, it's controversial.
Yeah, yeah. If you say that one's your favorite, people might unfollow.
Yeah, they're gonna just automatically assume I'm some sort of bad man.
Yeah,
but I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy.
Hey, guys! I know that we like Lars von Trier, but we're also not perverts.
We're good boys.
Yeah, we're fine gentlemen for sure. Yeah, no, I'm really excited for next year. But our next big event that we're going to be covering is really, really exciting. The Calgary Underground Film Festival is putting on the 12-hour Halloween movie marathon. They announced the first film.
They announced the first one,
which is going to be Hellfest, the brand new movie. So I thought I was going to be able to sidestep seeing
Hellfest,
that.
Yeah.
Nope. Guess I got to see it.
You get to see it.
I get to. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to. I'm hoping that the rest of the stuff isn't like shit that I've seen a lot. Like, I hope they don't pop The Exorcist or something in there, you know?
Well, I'm wondering if they're going to do the same thing they did last year.
Have like one of each.
Yeah. Have like the second movie is like the second film in a franchise. The third movie.
Halloween 2, I wouldn't mind seeing.
I don't like Halloween 2. I don't know. Those first 2 Halloween movies I'm not huge on. I'm excited to see the new one though.
Yeah, we will be seeing that.
And we will be seeing that, of course. Spookytober. Fucking of course.
Of course, player.
What the fuck? Of course.
So yeah, we're gonna try and hit some more film festival stuff. We'll see. Cuff Docs is coming up in end of November.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
right. European Film Festival is coming up in start of November. So
yeah,
we'll see what we can do.
We'll see what we can pop out for.
We love covering festival. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun. Pretty well organized this year.
Yeah. From what I could tell, like everything I went to just seemed very seamless. I wonder how attendance was. Because we went to that Mega Time Squad, which I didn't expect many people to be at, but it was packed.
Yeah, it was pretty full.
But the Super Grid screening we went to was pretty empty.
Yeah, I think it depends on the movie. Like House that Jack built was packed. Under the Silver Dome Under the Silver Lake was packed.
Yeah, but that's like that's the big stuff.
Big movie.
Yeah.
The Cold War was packed.
Yeah.
Assassination Nation was packed, but that's a movie that's like got a wide release the next day. Go to the fucking
Cineplex.
Multiplex, dude.
Oh, dude, Cineplex is doing Psycho for $7.
Oh wow, we're going to see that.
Yeah, we're gonna fucking obviously go see that. That's gonna be dope. Yeah.
So next week on the pod, we got some fun stuff next week. Hey.
Yeah, I just watched just before I came here, I just watched Best Friends Volume 1 and I got a 40-minute review on that. Boyo.
Perfect.
We're gonna be watching
Wiseau.
Tommy Wiseau's Best Friends Volume 1. Greg Sestero Pictures, which by the way, that logo is fucking awesome.
Sestero knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the Sestero Pictures.
He's a professional. I will once again talk about how I met him and he was dead behind the eyes next episode, so you can tune in for that.
He doesn't like it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Really waiting on that Best Friends Volume 2 now.
I need it.
We're gonna be watching Slice.
Yep, the Chance the Rapper movie.
Secret Window, Mercy, and
we got a little bonus in here.
We got a bonus episode. We've been sent a early copy of Camp Death 3.
A screener of Camp Death 3 in 2D.
Camp Death 3 in 2D. Super Canadian film, right?
Very Canadian.
Super Canadian.
About 30,000 Canadian to make this bad boy. Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah, I
watched it last night. It's tough.
That one I have not seen yet, but I'm really excited to see it. So make sure you tune in for all of that and everything that encompasses on the next podcast that's going to be dropping on Sunday,
Sorry,
October
Chadley
7th.
was wheezing this entire episode.
Yeah, I'm sick as fuck, dude.
Just figured we'd get that out of the way. You can follow me on Twitter at LastCoolDude. What's the socials there, Chadley?
Yeah, you can hit us up on social media. It's Movie Epidemic on Instagram and Twitter, and Punch Nerds - Movie Epidemic on Facebook. Sorry, I'm so sick. I bet you it's terrible pod.